everyone, welcome to October 2nd. So I had the prompt for today being zombie, and I wanted to be a little quicker than I was last time. So I decided that I would go ahead and sketch everything in pencil, and then color it all in ink for you guys on here. Now I actually did several different zombies, as you can see. The one I'm doing right now is a zombie of me, actually. I wanted to think about hair and how, what would hair do when someone became a zombie and stuff like that. One of the things I was a little surprised about, I'm saying a lot today, I am sorry, about when I looked zombies up online, is that the amount of like real life zombies, does that make sense? Like people dressed up as zombies rather than cartoon zombies was quite different. And I also saw none of Frankenstein, which I guess technically isn't a zombie, but is more like a mishmash of different parts of people. But I was still quite surprised that I didn't see it. Okay. That's me. Oh, I have a little scratch right here. So this one up here, make sure you can see it, is a man's face that I found online with half of his face in prosthetic makeup. And it was really creepy, actually, and I really liked it. He had this half smile, and half of his face is like I don't know how you want to call it, but it's like zombified, right? It's like rotting away and whatnot. And so one part of his mouth is completely normal and the other half is all like looking like a zombie, and I thought that was a really interesting thing, and so I definitely wanted to draw that because I thought it was so unique. So I'm glad that I chose that because I actually really wanted to do that. I've been watching other YouTubers' videos on Inktober so far, and they keep talking about their Inktober's last year and how to succeed and what to do and like all this different stuff, and it's got me a little worried, to be honest. I really like what one YouTuber said. I will link her video if I remember to do so, talking about the challenge, which was basically like, it's for yourself, and so you shouldn't really be comparing yourself to others during the challenge, and there's no real way to cheat. There's also different challenges throughout this month. There's Drawtober, Drawloween, and a whole bunch of other ones if you don't necessarily have ink in mind. There was also a really big thing about drawing digitally during Inktober, and while the person who made it, I don't remember his name at the time, was in doing cartoons at the time, and so he was doing traditional media. He did come out, I think this year, and basically was like, yes, it is completely okay to practice or draw even when doing this challenge in digital media. And so I always thought that was really cool of him to actually come out and finally say something about it, because for a while there it was like quite heavily debated, and so it's good to finally have a say of like, well, the guy who made the challenge said it's okay, so I don't know who else you're gonna argue with. Of course you're gonna have people that are like, you know, thinking that digital art isn't real art, or thinking that that it doesn't count for Inktober because there's no traditional media. But as far as I stand, I did traditional media for a little while. I don't do it anymore simply because I don't have an actual working tablet, and I hope to get one soon, actually. So everything I've been making recently, as in the past couple of years, has been traditional art, which is good on my behalf, I think, because I needed to get more basic stuff down before I just hopped into trying to do it on the computer, because it's the thing about digital art versus traditional art is it's easier in a lot of ways and it's harder in a lot of ways, so it's hard to really compare them both, because they're two different forms of mediums. They're two different mediums, same thing, I guess, kind of. So people that compare them all the time, I don't really understand that, because they're just two different things. So people who say, like, oh, you know, it's not, quote, real art, well, then you, like, are defining what art is by its medium, kind of, and that's not something artists do. You know, that's just not something that you do. You know, making sculptures is art, making clothing is art. You can basically argue anything is art, which is what I really, really like, and that's kind of what I go by. So for me, it's like, was it, maybe, I don't know if creative's the right word, but like, was it something that you did? You know, I don't know. Art has such a loose definition, it's hard to put it in words. But to me, basically anything can be art. You don't really have to convince me otherwise. If you say, look at this thing I made, I will say that's some pretty good art, you know, despite what medium it is in. Especially digital art. I don't know why people have such a hard time with it, because it still takes the skill. You know, one of the very big things in the art community is you shouldn't buy expensive supplies if you aren't at that level, simply because expensive supplies don't make you a good artist. And while it's true that once you get into that level, you can certainly use the supplies to benefit your art, if you don't have the basics down, you're just gonna have, you know, not very good art made of good supplies. And so I'm using a ballpoint pen. But I really do appreciate people who stand up for the digital art community, especially here on YouTube, because they get quite a lot of hate sometimes, and I just don't understand why, to be quite honest. I mean, I do, but I really much don't. But that's just because I don't share that same viewpoint. So, I don't know, it'll be exciting to see if maybe after more virtual reality stuff comes out, or making things in VR, how that will change what art is. But it's going to be interesting to see over the next few years. Sorry that I'm just rambling while drawing my zombies. But I know that had come up in quite a few people's videos, so I kind of wanted to address it as well, just to let you know where I stand on it. Who says that? Stand on the right side of history. Right? Alright, that is the second day of Inktober. I'm so glad that I have been able to do it, and let's sign this and go to bed. Thank you all for joining me. Have a good night.